We are almost 1 year into the release of Halo Infinite, and the thought of Halo Infinite honestly makes me a little pissed and rubs me the wrong way. And I think about why I feel like this over and over again. What went wrong with this game? It was supposed to bring Halo back. It was supposed to reignite the golden age of Halo. When I originally wrote the script for this video, I primarily just spoke about the campaign because I only wanted to fixate on the campaign and what was wrong with it and what could be improved in the series. But here we are a year later, and the game is still incomplete. 343 Studios said by this time we would already have Forge. We would already have co-op campaign. We have neither of those things. So it makes it really difficult to talk about this game as a whole when we don't even have the whole. We just have bits and pieces. We have a subpar multiplayer and we have a subpar campaign. But I mean, I did write a script for the campaign, so I might as well use it and share it. Share my opinion on what makes this game not so great. So anything from here on out is going to be about the campaign and my review about it. If I get a little off track, it's because I am salty about the whole thing overall. I'm gonna start with my biggest complaint about this campaign. It's the story. There's this missing gap of information between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite that's just vaguely explained through dialogue between Weapon and Master Chief, and occasionally through audio logs that you find throughout the world. Now, usually something like that doesn't bother me in a video game, like how it's done in the game BioShock, where it's just world building and lore to enrich the playing experience and fill in the gaps of knowledge the player wouldn't learn through gameplay because their character wasn't present in any of the events spoken about. In Halo Infinite, it just feels like 343 had an idea of the events that led to Halo Infinite, but didn't know how to clearly convey it into a video game format. So they just took all the key events that happened in the 6 months between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite and explained it through vague dialogue and audio logs. The main story that happens in Halo Infinite is fine for the most part, I guess, but because of that lack of knowledge of how we're in the predicament we're in, it just feels slightly disconnected overall. Like, why am I doing what I'm doing, and how did I get here? And who are these people in these audio logs? I have no connection to them whatsoever. So that's all I have to say about the Halo Infinite story. I mean, it's cool at some parts, it's boring at others, there's some cool moments here and there, but at the end of the day, I didn't really care.
That was something.
Now that the story's out of the way, let's talk about the world design of Halo Infinite. You know how in the other Halo games, there's a wider range of environments and biomes? Well, apparently this ring doesn't have jack shit. It's bland. Everywhere you go in the overworld in this game is the same. It's the same green mountain range that you've been grappling around for the last 5 hours. Sometimes you'll encounter a new cave that you didn't explore that looks different. Sometimes you'll find a new building that looks different. But overall, it's the same everywhere you go. And the missions between the overworld visits are the same as well. You're going through Forerunner facilities that all look the same. Sometimes the room's a little bigger, sometimes the hallway's shorter, sometimes there's a different alien there. It doesn't matter, it's all the same. The environment's always the same. There's no cool beaches to run across, there's no snowy terrain, there's nothing. It's just mountain or Forerunner tech. That's it. And it's such a shame too, because I don't have an issue with Halo being an open world game. I don't have an issue with it at all. I think it's even better with the new tech that they included in this game, like sliding and grappling everywhere. It shined in the environment that it was put into. It made it more fun to traverse the world. But there's no change in environment in this whole game. There's no reason why the last island of this game should feel exactly the same as the first island in this game. And the same goes for the linear levels between the open world exploration as well. There's no reason the Forerunner tech in the beginning of the game should look exactly the same as the Forerunner tech at the end of the game. There's no feeling of progression in this story whatsoever because of that. The level design just repeats itself over and over again. It's just long empty hallway, leads to a fight, long empty hallway leads to another fight, maybe a boss fight. And speaking of the boss fights, they're actually the most fun parts of this game. The boss fights are unique, and they're actually difficult and challenging. I played on Legendary, so I don't know how they are on the other difficulties, but I had a great time. I found them rewarding at the end. Now on the opposite side of the spectrum, the assassinations, or the hitman targets, or whatever you want to call them, they were lackluster. They were made out to be these warlords that were super difficult to fight, but honestly all you had to do was run them over with a Banshee, a Warthog, or just get a Warthog full of Marines with Sentinel beams, and they were just deleted right there and then.
That handles the target. Let's get the rest of the squad.
Overall, I did enjoy the campaign, but you know, it wasn't the greatest thing in the world. All the extra stuff is stuff I've seen in other games like Assassin's Creed or Far Cry. And the combat is fun. You genuinely do feel like a badass with the new movement tech that they put in the game, especially with the grapple. It is single-handedly the best thing that they did put in this game. But yeah, that's about it. 6 out of 10 Arbiters, I guess.